Good morning. I hope everybody that listens is keeping well. I wanted to read some of my notes. As I go through this, I will try make sense out of it because sometimes even I don't understand what I wrote. So in the moment it seems okay, but I forget to write most of what I'm thinking. So when I'm reading it doesn't make a lot of sense. I'm a really bad writer. There's lots of things exploding at the same time in my head, and I simply fail to transmit it into words. So we'll see how it goes. The study of the skies gave us a working calendar and a working clock. It was noticed that this projection could be divided into houses, each one of these houses having 30 degrees, giving us total of 360 degrees. You know, one of the earliest form of writing was numbers. It was humans, people that came up with numbers. Numbers don't exist in nature. Everything is pressure mediation. Everything follows a path of less resistance. And nature really doesn't deal with numbers, counting or measuring or calculations at all. So humans came up with numbers to express themselves, and it was a combination of numbers between 1 and 9. 0 didn't exist, 10 didn't exist. All right. But soon it was noticed that every 72 years the projection went backwards. The projection went retrograde 1 degree. So, after 26,000 years, roughly, some people say it's less, it went completely backwards to the starting point. This came to be known as the precession of the ecliptic. Notions of time travel, yes, or notions about the Ouroboros, yes, this is where it comes from. With time, people started granting magical or supernatural powers to these constellations. It's just traditional of humans, you see. From the empirical and observational study, it became magical. Of course, magic comes from within us. It's the power of our imagination, the power that emanates from the soul. Since there's no light without shadows, the fiat of orthodoxy started to get a grip over astrology, giving birth to this concept of astrotheology. As an example of orthodoxy, there was an attempt to fix Easter at the same day of the week, i.e., Sunday, all years. From now on, Sunday was the day of Easter. And how did they manage that? They came up with a new calendar, the Gregorian calendar, and a new type of astrology, the tropical astrology. And it was introduced for that purpose, to fix Easter on Sunday, completely ignoring the precession of the equinoxes. Basically, what they did, they stopped the wheel of time, and the world is kept in stagnation ever since. This is what astrotheology does. It's a mind control system designed to capture one's imagination. So people who believe in this system are frozen in time, so to speak. They are frozen in the year zero AD. The same go for their grimoires, or all their Abrahamic grimoires, Astro-Zahorian and whatever. It's all based on Abrahamic, theology. Anyone that reads these grimoires and takes them literally is stuck in the year 0 AD. For instance, revelations and other, divination parts of the book concerns 0 AD. It doesn't concern the future or the past. No, it concerns just 0 AD, and they are stuck. They think that all of those things are happening or going to happen. No, that concerns the past. It's long gone. Move on. But they can't move on because it's a dogma, you see. It's a cul-de-sac. When it captures your imagination, you can't go anywhere, and it feeds off of your energy. That's what it's all about. Energy, absorption. Uh, Astrotheology, because of all of its dogmas, gave birth to another type of dogma called the Gnostic thinking. One of the mantras over and over again that we hear is as above, so below. Since it repeats itself every 26,000 years, like the snake eating its own tail, concepts such as prison planet or reincarnation trap came to be, and only through gnosis one could achieve liberation from this place. This was their belief. Their mind was captured in this dogma, and only through gnosis they could get rid of it. The story about the serpent tempting humans to eat from the tree of knowledge to attain gnosis is an example. Another mantra I hear over and over again is know thyself. It was written in the Greeks, temples, or that thou art. It was written in the Hindu temples. It's a similar concept. It means know yourself, know your limits, know your purpose, learn to identify the true self, know the soul. Basically, it's know thyself, curiosity to learn and understand the mysteries of human consciousness, basically. It's what every pagan seeks. The Instead of focusing like the Gnostics in circular reasoning, this philosophy, this ontology, puts the human being at the center of the wheel, becoming the immovable mover, becoming the axis of the celestial will. You see? This is geocentrism. You are at the center of the wheel. Yes? Everything emanates from the center. Yeah, it's a projection. You are projecting everything around you. You are at the center of the wheel. Astrotheology or Gnosticism places you at the exterior of the wheel. Yes? Roughly every 26,000 years, returning to the same spot. So, anyone that is outside the wheel is in a constant loop, repetition, stagnation. Repetition is one of the concepts of hell. Repetition or excess, or being distant from the source, being distant from the one self, being distant from the soul. This also comes into the concept of the NPC. They are distanced from the one self, the true self. They are distant. Their imagination has been captured, and so they could take them away from themselves, so to speak. That's the purpose of all cults, religions, and even some philosophies. They just want to, keep you away from yourself, eventually replacing, they want to replace, you know, your consciousness. They are after your soul, your consciousness. They are after Everything that encapsulates even your possessions, thereafter, everything that you are, your family, and want to replace it. They want to confiscate it and replace it with the cult ideology. So, this idea gives birth to repetition, the trap, the prison, right? Know thyself also gives birth to the microcosm and macrocosm analogy, although I wouldn't take this analogy too far or even too serious, because often what works at the microcosm cannot be applied in the macrocosm, and vice versa. This is what causes people to go full collectivist, for example. Just because it works in a small scale, like for instance in a family unit, it doesn't mean it will work nation level. Individuality will eventually become sacrificed for the sake of this, collectivism, individuality, free markets, the will to take risks, the artistic expression of people, culture. Culture will be sacrificed. Technology will innovation will be sacrificed. People, for instance, in the world, migrate towards places that reward personal development than instead of collective mediocrity. You see, one of the last places on earth is the United States. It's where all technology is developed because it rewards the individual, the personal sacrifice of the individual. It rewards them, right? If you're living in a socialist paradise, if you want to take risks and develop anything, they will come after you and tax you to death. So it doesn't make a lot of sense to take all risks, sacrifice, hours, years of your life, of your sleep, so that all of your efforts is redistributed by everybody lazy, especially lazy, people, redistributed by them, and at the end of all their effort, you're left with the same share as everybody else. And if it doesn't pay back, the sacrifice doesn't pay back, they won't reward you neither. So it's a lose-lose situation. There was this economist that made an analogy that was very interesting. Imagine you're a professor and a bunch of students passed the test, right? One student or two got perfect score, and some got mediocre, and others really, really bad. So, in a situation of equality, the teacher then said, now let's split the points through everybody. So the ones who got perfect score would have to sacrifice and share with the ones who didn't had any score. So it will level everybody down. Everybody would stay at the same level. You see, that that doesn't make any sense. That's what equality is all about. That's what the collectivism is all about, and that's why everybody runs to the United States when they have ideas, because they want to develop and succeed. Uh, the epicenter of technology has been there, So anyway, let's continue. Become the center of the wheel, the immovable mover. Practice self proximity. Don't dilute yourself. It is by stretching too much that, for example, cultures collapse. When one stretches too much, altruism resurfaces. Pathological altruism resurfaces. All magic emanates from us. All magic emanates from our imagination. It emanates from the soul, the one and only transmigrant. Everything in this world emanates from the soul. It's not a creation. There's no original sin. There's no so above. as above, so below, that's a fallacy. Fallacy in the term of the Abrahamic sense, it says that beings below are the inverse of the reflection above. Yes, in the Abrahamic sense, right? Emanationism dismisses any ideas of first cause or creationism. Yes, emanationism can be seen in the, or proven in the golden ratio. The golden ratio is the now this is a big word, incommensurability, the incommensurability of the spiral. And it was the secret of the Pythagoreans that said the universe couldn't express itself in any other way. It's the spiral, you see. The spiral, this incommensurable, form, is a mirror, is a almost like you know, a, a, a reflection on a mirror that, you know, when you look yourself in the mirror, you're seeing a reflection of yourself, right? So reality is the reflection of the one, i.e., the soul. This spiral is the reflection of the soul. Yes. So, I think that's it. That's all I wanted to say. I have some more stuff here. I don't know if it connects with the information. I wrote something. The ether is the 90% of the missing universe. Today's scientists say it's missing. You see, modern scientists, they say, oh, there's 90% or something like that, that it's unaccountable for. It's the ether, okay? But they don't want to admit it. If they admit the existence of the ether, it would be a sacrilege in their religion, because the ether is something you can't measure. It's something you can't, count. It's spiritual. It's there, and it's like 90%, but they can't admit its existence. Otherwise, all their doctrines for these past centuries would go down the drain. And then I have an isosceles triangle, which was, how the Pythagoreans used to, used to, draw. And the shape of the triangle is actually the origin of the Trinity. You have water plus matter plus spirit. It's the Trinity that actually allows life to exist. It couldn't exist any other way. You have to have these three elements present. Yes, it's the golden ratio starts with 1, 1, 2, I think, and it's matter, spirit, water. I'm not sure, or water, spirit, matter. It has to have a principal attribute. One and one, it repeats itself in the beginning, because it's principle and attribute at the same time. Can't be separated. So anyway, I hope any of this made any sense. I've been talking almost for 20 minutes. Have a nice day.